Excalibur, I want to ask. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you know what happened with Ricky Reyes? I haven't seen or heard from him in a long time. I love the Havana Pitbulls as a tag team. I know he and Rocky were tag team partners for a long time, but it's been years since I remember even seeing his name. Do you know what he's up to now?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. I should ask Rocky, or I should have asked Rocky ahead of this, and then I could have had an answer for you. But unfortunately, I don't. I hope he's doing well wherever he has ended up. But yeah, I know he has left pro wrestling behind for uh, quite a while.
All right, so this is Chuck Taylor, who we know on the left, and Ricochet on the right. Take a look at Ricochet's hair. Whoa.
Yep.
That's a
So
crazy haircut.
this was about a year after Ricochet had debuted in Dragon Gate in Japan. And that's really when his career took a huge step forward, is going there and wrestling with other high flyers, wrestling with guys and that's the aforementioned PWG World Championship title belt that is hanging above the uh,
Mm-hmm.
for the ladder match that will be the main event. But yeah, Ricochet going to Dragon Gate gave him, I mean, not just a lot of confidence, but working with other high flyers and working with other smart high flyers um, really gave him the knowledge of how best to use his gifts and abilities.
Right.
It's kind of, I know you're a DC guy, Tony, but it's kind of like going to Professor Xavier's school.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got that. I'm really impressed with how Ricochet has become a very good heel, and how he's, he just when you hear him talk, you just want to slap him. Just he's just so obnoxious, but he's done a great job. And of course, Chuck's one of our coaches now, and I have a lot of time for Chuck, especially after I watched some that match with Archibald Peck last week. That was something else.
Yeah, Chuck was somebody that I think he's another guy that doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. That has a great mind for pro wrestling, and I mean, you see it, Tony, in how people come up to him and people talk to him and ask him for his opinion about stuff. But
Right.
I don't know if the wrestling fandom at large really appreciates how smart he is. I mean, he is the laziest, most laconic guy. He is the character of Orange Cassidy. If you
Mm-hmm.
told me that was based on the real Chuck Taylor, I would say, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But he's somebody that he knows so much about pro wrestling. He knows so much about the mechanics and the things, and what makes a good spot, a good sequence, a good callback later on in the match. He knows all these things, and one of my favorite PWG moments of all time, and I remember this vividly, is when Chuck Taylor beat Zack Sabre Jr. to win the PWG World Title. It was probably about 6 years after this match has taken place, but it was such a smart match, and I can't attribute it all to Chuck because Zack is just an amazing wrestler in his own right. But those two guys, they had the crowd. I mean, they bit on every single up and down and every single twist and turn of the match. And then when Chuck finally won, it was this moment of relief, catharsis, elation, because this lovable loser, this underdog, beat the slickest, smartest technical wrestler in the world. And I think he learned a lot of that in these matches with Ricochet, because Chuck was never, as fancy, as fluid as Ricochet was. He was, you see him, he's the shaggy haired guy, where Ricochet, he's got this mohawk, these trunks that, this was Shima, who you may remember from the early days of AEW, Tony. When he was in Dragon Gate, he was, he was the leader of like the kind of the main stable there at the time that Ricochet went over there, and he immediately embraced Ricochet and brought him in. And that's why Ricochet has this kind of this presentation here. But he and Chuck are very, very different, and I think Chuck for a long time realized that he's never going to look as cool as Ricochet. He's never going to be as fluid as Zack Sabre Jr. But he can do the things that he does extremely well, and he could do them a lot better than a lot of other guys.
Right. We are watching, again, Chuck Taylor and Ricochet doing some spectacular things here. And Excalibur, of course, is here with us, and we really appreciate him being here with us. I'm sure we got some questions for Excalibur we can throw in right now. But before we do, we need to hear Excalibur's call of this match a little bit. Bring up the audio, Dave.
Up the knee, stop to the back, and Chuck Taylor with the upper hand after that exchange. Chuck Taylor lateral press, not even a 1 count, 0.99. Chuck Taylor remarking that he's already tired, but those familiar with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla history know that Super Dragon would use this seated scissors of the leg to great advantage. So Chuck Taylor using it to recover some of his cardiovascular conditioning and to use it as a vice-like grip on Ricochet. But Ricochet though rolls over, gets to the ropes, forcing Chuck to break the hold. Chuck Taylor does look, he looks refreshed, I will say, like he just had a mint julep. Chuck Taylor is awesome. You got to hand it to him. He's no Chris Hero, but you know, as soon as Chuck Taylor gets his own song professing that Chuck Taylor is awesome, then he will be. Tracy Smothers style chop to the throat. It's long been rumored that Tracy Smothers.
I do want to ask Excalibur, I think Ricochet's first match was with Chuck Taylor, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chuck was the guy that kind of trained Ricochet, broke him in. I think it was a situation where Ricochet may have paid for training somewhere, and the whoever was doing it wasn't maybe present, or maybe cared that much about the training of his students, more cared about the money that they brought in, and Chuck was the one that was there that kind of was the guy that broke Ricochet in. And yeah, for a long time, much like Rocky Romero and TJ, Chuck Taylor and Ricochet, this was the traveling match. They would go around the country and just wrestle each other on independent shows. And this was their showcase match. And this was a couple years after the last time that they had to do it. And I believe the first match that they had since Ricochet really got that Dragon Gate experience under his belt.
SaveWithConrad.com.
Yeah, I'm Justin Gruffin from Knoxville, Tennessee. What got me to Save with Conrad was the 83 Weeks podcast. I really wasn't thinking about getting rid of any debt. I just wanted to cash out some equity in the house to do remodeling. But I did both, so that was pretty awesome. Worked out great. Redid the foyer, built pantry space, and there was little odds and ends when I first bought the house that I wanted to take care of, and we were able to take care of it. So, paid off 2 cars and some credit card debt. So probably all in all, $30,000 in that. And then I got some $30,000 more equity out of the house, and still plenty of equity left over. So payment's good. I lowered my interest rate. I'm in a much better spot than I was. Super easy. Everybody was great. Very, very awesome people. Francis and Steve were great to work with. They're awesome. Made it for a very easy, seamless experience. I'd probably say all in all, probably $1,000 a month at least. I lowered my interest rate, especially the way the interest rates are right now, which is, that's amazing. I'm Justin Bruckman from Knoxville, Tennessee. I saved over $1,000 with SaveWithConrad.com, and I did a lot of renovations with that money as well.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.